Deion Sanders finally gave us a coaching performance worth praising. Colorado dominates Colorado State 28-9. This was a must-win game for Deion Sanders. And I don't want anybody to say, oh, they just beat Colorado State, they're not that good. No, this is a rivalry game. And you can never discredit getting a win against your rival, especially when you have the pressure that Deion had coming into this game, because I was ready to just completely flip on this team if they would have lost this game, just keeping it 100, because I was disappointed with how the first two games of this year went for Colorado, because I felt like they were a way better team than what they displayed in those previous two games. Well, tonight, this looked like the Colorado team that I expected to see going into this year. This was probably the best game that Colorado has ever played under Deion Sanders, because it was a complete football game. The offense was really good. They actually were able to run the football tonight, people. Welch was really impressive. Give this dude some more touches, man. Why are you gatekeeping this dude on the sideline, Deion? This Welch dude is a stud. He was averaging 7.2 yards per attempt. Like, give this brother some more touches, Deion. You got to. You can't keep a brother like this on the sideline. Come on, man. Where's this rushing attack been for the last year you've been in Boulder, man? We need more of Welch. This offensive line, yeah, it could have been better, but they kept Shedeur upright, and they were opening up lanes in the run game. And Jordan Seaton had a great performance. He had about like 3, 4, 5 pancake blocks. It's like you could tell that Jordan Seaton was a 5-star recruit in this game, because he was just bigger than everybody else on Colorado State's defensive line. He was more athletic. I mean, this dude was absolutely bullying Colorado State's D-line. And you could tell that Colorado was locked in for this game, because normally you always hear a few Colorado players talking a little noise, like what they did against Nebraska, what they did against North Dakota State, but you could tell that they took that loss to Nebraska personally. You know, they felt some kind of way with how Nebraska dominated them last week, and they wanted to come out here and show that, you know, they don't just play for clicks. And Colorado State was doing a lot of chirping in this game. Torrey Horton, their starting quarterback, whatever his name is, they were talking about how last year when they played, they should have murdered Colorado. So I was like, okay, I see Colorado State throwing gruesome balls now. They want to come out and talk some noise. Let's see if they can back it up. And they didn't back it up. It seemed like the roles were reversed. Normally, when you watch Colorado play, they're the team that's undisciplined, that's committing a bunch of penalties, that's playing too emotionally. Colorado State, you know, in this game, like, they didn't look prepared. You know, they thought that they were going up against a Colorado team that they saw last year, and they felt that they were good enough to beat this team, and they weren't. And they got humbled in the worst way possible. Like, when you talk the kind of crap that they were talking in the offseason about Colorado, you would think that they had some tricks up their sleeve. Like, you would have thought that they were going to come out looking like Texas or Alabama or something like that. And they looked worse than North Dakota State. And they're an FCS team. And I love how Colorado, they didn't really respond to any of the comments that the Colorado State players were making. And when they asked Deion Sanders about it, he said, we didn't have to say too much. You know, we just played the video for the players to see, and they knew what they needed to do. I can't do anything but praise Deion Sanders for Colorado's performance tonight and their win against Colorado State. And even if you are somebody who doesn't like Deion Sanders and you hate him, you got to give him praise for having this team prepared and completely improved from what we've seen the first 2 weeks of this year. The offensive line was good. They could run the football. The defense looks really good. And Shedeur Sanders, he didn't start this game out too hot, but once he started to get settled in and he was like, okay, my offensive line can block tonight, he was actually more comfortable throwing the football once he could tell that this offensive line was going to be able to keep him upright for this game, because defensively, Colorado State, they played scared. They were running a lot of zone coverage. They weren't sending extra guys. They tried to do a little bit of what Nebraska did last week with, the way they were stunting their interior defensive linemen, but they just don't have the talent nor the athleticism to pull that off. And moving forward, Colorado now enters conference play. And I really believe that Colorado is good enough to win the Big 12 conference this year, despite what you guys may tell me. I know that I may sound like a hypocrite because I've been ripping Deion a lot lately. But like I said earlier this week, I don't criticize Deion Sanders out of hate. When I criticize Deion Sanders, it comes from being a disappointing supporter because I really do want to see Deion succeed. I don't want to see him fail in Colorado. I hate going on X and seeing all the trolls and the haters talk about how he's not a good coach. And I just hate when, in certain situations, he proves the haters right. I really do want to see Colorado win. So I was happy with the performance that they put on the field tonight. And you could tell that Deion, he was kind of tired of the criticism too, because every time he was getting interviewed, he was telling the reporter, man, how about that offensive line? How about that defense? Oh, we running the football now. It's kind of like he wanted to stick it to the haters. And he has to be able to maintain this level of performance with this team for the rest of this year. Because there's not a single team in the Big 12 that Colorado can't beat. Maybe outside of Utah. Utah's just a different breed. When Cam Rising's healthy, they're one of the best teams in the nation, in my opinion. But outside of Utah, I love Colorado's chances of being able to win this conference because when Shedeur Sanders is able to get protection, you see what he can do with these receivers. This is one of the best receiving corps in college football. LeJontay Western was the standout performance tonight outside of Travis Hunter. And I watched a lot of LeJontay because he went to my alma mater, FAU. So I've seen this dude live in person, and I was trying to tell people just how good this dude is. Great route runner, really elusive with the ball in his hands after the catch. And you saw how explosive he can be when he actually gets opportunities with the football like we saw tonight. Colorado is more than just Travis Hunter on offense. They got Jimmy Horn Jr., they got LeJontay, they got Will Shepherd. And if they can sustain the level of success tonight that they had on the ground, this is a really hard offense to stop, especially when you can protect two. And defensively, you see their improvement with the hiring of their new defensive coordinator. Now, the run defense still looks a little bit choppy out there. Like, Colorado State was able to get a couple of big runs here and there. But this was an all-around great performance that we saw out of Colorado. Probably the best performance that I've seen them have under Coach Prime since their Week 1 win against TCU. And this win is more impressive to me because they actually came out and dominated a team that they were supposed to dominate. And I've seen a lot of people picking Colorado State to win this game. Like, although I was disappointed in Colorado's performance the past 2 weeks, I didn't question if they could win this game. I knew they were going to win it. I just didn't know how big the margin was going to be. Now, they play Baylor next week. 8 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. That's going to be their first big test. Because now you have a big time game. Are you going to be able to maintain this level of play? Don't allow this win to get to your head because now the real season for you begins.